All right, folks, welcome to part two of MLD and Me. I promise shit gets juicy here, so I'm just going to kick it off. So, here you'll see a screenshot of what started out as a conversation in the moderator lounge. As you can see, it's actually called the Moderator Crusade Lounge. That's up until I left, that's the name of it. I'm not sure if it's changed, so that's pretty interesting. Um, but you have Taku, who's a bit of an SJW scrub, who goes around and he's like, "Oh, well, we have a problem with this guy because he's chat banned, and he had a name that traps are gay." I didn't even see that initially because I was on mobile, and and he's also complaining about people putting ASCI dicks on his profile, which like you can't control what people are putting on your profile. All you can do is block and ban them. I tried to start a Rocket League clan back in the day, and I had some trolls come on and do like like ASCI Hitlers and swastikas and shit. So it like you can't control other people. Taku, that's a retarded ass point, my friend. So but we'll move on. So then Ray chimes in and he's like, "Oh, look at other people's names. Our boy Storm has some dumb names." It's just like, dude, it's a freaking name. I think everyone at some point has changed their Steam name to something that they probably wouldn't, probably wouldn't be proud to show their grandparents. But I just think that like the dude had never been mean or anything, so I don't understand why that's like grounds to just insta ban him. I mean, like if your name is like Gas the Jews or Hitler did nothing wrong, then yeah, like probably shouldn't be part of it. But traps are gay. Come on. So then Ray comes up with this other person who was in their storm, and he had Clitorius Pig as his Steam name, and Ray is like white knighting on about it. Now, because Ray's a boomer, he doesn't. He's probably and he's fucking white guy. He's probably never listened to a guy named Notorious B.I.G. who constantly used to rap about womanizing. So the joke Clitorius Pig is funny because it's comparing Biggie, who's a fat pig, to a clitoris, which he's constantly objectifying. It's what you would call a smart person joke. But Ray didn't get that. He just took it at face value because he's racist. See what I did there? Ray, racist, and doesn't like hip hop. So I'm just being obnoxious now. But yeah, so Ray starts white knighting on about this bullshit. So then Ray gets on his high horse and he's like, "See, Wolfego laughs." And I think it's disgusting and degrading towards women. Just going full blown SJW white knight crap. Just threw me under the bus for no reason. Like, just because I laughed at it because I actually got the joke and he didn't. He thinks I'm like some misogynist pig, and is just trying to paint me into a corner or into a point. Paint me into a corner. Goddamn Wednesday. So, yeah, it's just a fun little time here in the Moderator Crusade Lounge. I tried to explain the joke to Ray, and he's just like, I'm just gonna say, he's basically just painting it all black and white. He's happy to remove nuance from the picture, so that he can pump up his own ego and feel good about his views on women. Which, like, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I think it goes without saying that you respect women and whatnot. I was raised in a household where I was taught you never strike a woman, you never disrespect a woman. And so it's just kind of always gone without saying that I respect women. So I don't feel the need to tell everyone how much I respect women because it's a fucking given to me. But how these SJW types are. Got a virtue signal and all that, and white knight in their own private little mod lounge talking shit about people. So then Inanimate J from the council pops in, and he's just like, "Yeah, this is why we have naming policies." And that should have been the end of it. Katie's like, "Yeah, it should probably be changed." I even agree. I was like, you probably shouldn't have that name in the Discord, but I just don't think it's a bannable offense. And then Ray's just once again tries to be an asshole. Like, that should have been the end of it. And he's like, oh, he was just pointing out Fuego's point. Yeah, I never said I approved of it. I just made a lol at a little stupid ass joke. And then he's just trying to say, you know, you basically hate women, and trying to paint me into a corner that doesn't even exist. So I don't know about any of you people, but I was always raised to not really talk shit about other people behind their back because they can't defend themselves. Ray clearly was not, or maybe he was, maybe he's just forgotten. But you know, so I basically just said I'm not going to use the guy as an example to feel good about myself. You know, just called him out for being on his high horse, but Ray doesn't have a sense of humor at all, and that's fine. He doesn't have to think it's funny. You know, and I just kind of pointed out that, hey, we all come from different backgrounds. I was raised in a pretty poor Christian conservative household. And, you know, if you asked me my opinion on gay people when I was 13 or 14, I probably wouldn't have given a similar view of what I have now. You know, I mean, because it's 2018, I got to clarify everything. Obviously, I don't give a fuck. You know, if you do whatever you want, it doesn't affect me. You know, so I just kind of pointed out that I try and, you know, maybe you should try and level with someone before you just ban them. Maybe if you talk to them, have a little conversation here and there, you'll get them to change their mind, like happened to me in the past. So, but you know, why would you try and actually right or wrong when you can just talk shit about someone and make yourself feel good about your own progressive views? Because that's a whole lot easier. So a few days go by, Ray's suddenly not a mod anymore, and then I get this message. Kathy basically tells me that I am removed from mod. It has nothing to do with my crude sense of humor, but I am not carrying myself as a mod due to the recent confrontation. Just wait for this later. But then he says that a few members of the council already told me that they talked with me about how I carry myself here. That's a fucking lie. The only person who ever said anything to me was the initial time Cloudfuel messaged me with the informal warning that led to the mute back in part 1. So if there's any council people watching this, feel free to disprove me. Drudge up some DMs. You know what? Actually, though, because you can edit them and just use inspect element. You know, do like most of y'all stream. Do a live view of the Discord of our DM and prove me wrong, but that's not at all how it went. No one other than Cloudfuel messaged me or DM'd me or said anything about my behavior. One time I was changing people's nicknames just to meme before nickname privileges were taken from mods. I had to change like 3 people's names, and then Jay was like, all right, stop, and I stopped. That's it. So yeah, no one ever told me that. That being said, I did try to play it nice and level-headed. You know, I was like, you know, I don't remember. Maybe there is a time where someone messaged me, and I don't remember it. Went back and checked all my DMs with all the council people. No one said shit. So that is a bold-faced lie. So here in this next slide, it's just me talking to Cathexis still. You know, I'm just trying to be nice. I'm like, okay, what can I do in the future? And he's basically like, oh, you know, don't be crude or whatever. I messaged Ray trying to make amends just because we used to be on pretty good terms. He ignored me like a little bitch. Doesn't surprise me at all, especially now that I know what I know about Ray, which I'll get to later. But then Kathy says that the council came to him days before me and Ray had that argument in the mod chat, and they were like, oh, we should probably remove him. But which they kind of did, but they never said I should be removed as mod. It was just ticky-tacky bullshit, which I'll get to in the next few slides. Also, pay attention to that second to last sentence where Cathexis says that Ray, like, I don't know, I think he said something like, you know, Ray didn't ask to step down unless I was removed. But as we'll see here in the next couple slides, that's not true at all. Because luckily, I have friends, and they got a hold of a DM which proved that I was essentially axed from mod because Ray threw a little bitch fit and was like, "Well, I'm not coming back as mod unless Fuego is removed." Um, and there are other people in the league who are inappropriate, but because they donate significant bits, like they held higher positions. Well, it's like I don't care. Like I don't. It's whatever. But I mean, I was definitely like, here's where I knew that they're like, all right, we just don't like this guy. I think I just kind of got on their nerves over time, but they didn't really have a reason to get rid of me. So they're like, well, this is as good of a reason as we'll probably get because I went against the groupthink. Um, and so because I made that point, then Cathexis goes ahead and he's like, oh, we haven't made any, like, he goes on this weird tangent about how he hasn't made money off MLD and he gives it back to the community. And it's like, I've never accused you of taking money from MLD, but strange thing to get defensive about, amigo. And here is an enlarged version of the DM that I was sent. As you can see, Blackwatch, who was on the council, acknowledged that essentially Zafuego Ray trade. Said that he has no idea what happened, but I'm no longer a mod, and that was the only reason why Ray wanted out. So that's coming straight from the horse's mouth. Texas lied to my face, which is a bitch move. You can't be a leader and be lying to people because it's easier. Just say we don't like you. We don't want you to be a mod. It would have been shitty, but this is like just petty bullshit. And here is a DM between Katie and someone else. Katie was a mod, as mentioned in part 1. Probably still a mod. But another mod even mentioned that there's a mod chat discussion. Ray asked to leave if I stayed on. So they got me because... and they said it was due to past incidents and crude humor. So the humor did play into it. And the past incidents I'll get to here in a second. So back to me and Cathexis' exchange. I just was like, I never accused you of stealing money or whatever, And then he kind of mentions that Ray didn't say anything to him about me being the reason he stepped down. So using plausible deniability, that's BS. There's no way he didn't know. Considering that they have people like Clay HD on the mod team for like a season when he was totally inactive, like they don't really remove mods unless there's a reason. So there's no way that wasn't discussed. I've blurred out stuff in the past few slides with Kathy. I'm not going to be an asshole. He did mention that he did share things from his personal life that were reasons why he wasn't so active, and wish him the best and all that. But that's not an excuse. Like, if you're VP, you got to be VP or step down and do it. Allow someone who has more time to do the job. So this is, I don't want to say it's like a smoking gun, but then after, I thought the exchange between me and Cathexis was over, then he messages me and he's like, people have already accused you accused us of kicking you. It's a constant bullshit circle. But I'm not blaming you, by the way. But see how shit spreads? Well, I mean, okay, if I was a real asshole and no one liked me and I was like just constantly getting on people's nerves and being crude, no one would have questioned anything. But apparently a lot of people kind of freaked out when I left. I don't know how many a lot is, but, I mean, I got a lot of messages of support from people like, dang, dude, sucks that you went. Probably at least 10, 15 people messaged me. And at least half of those were people who I rarely talked to in the league. Because I was a good member. So, it is what it is. The rest of this is personal stuff that I don't really want to go through, so I'm just going to make sure it's blurred out, and out of respect for Cathexis. So now moving on in the conversation. So after all that, Kathy's like, okay, I'm going to go straighten all this out, because especially after I sent him that screenshot from Blackwatch talking about it, like, there's no way he could avoid the incident. So, yeah, so he said the discussion started last Saturday about the removal of your role, which was the night it happened, the night me and Ray got into it in the mod lounge. But he said the issue, so now he starts to grasp at straws. He's talking about the issue was first brought up about sly comments I directed towards Fuzz, who was this guy from, he was basically he was a Smurf. Let's just be real. He was a Smurf. Every fucking body knew he was a Smurf. He's like a 12 salary or 12.5. Yet he was posting like 12 Giphies a day of doing like Champ 3 shit. And I posted like, on one of them I put like 12.5 thinking emoji. So that's all that was. Which, okay, if you're gonna demod me for questioning someone's legitimacy of their salary, like their point value, that's fucking retarded. Like, what's the point of having mods if we can't do anything? Like, as Cathexis said, like, he can't do everything. The rest of the council obviously can't do everything. So what's the point of having mods if they like clearly see that someone's smurfing and call it out? It's not like I even added him in Gen Chat. I just put 12.5 thinking emoji. That's it. Like, it was about as tame of a smurf accusation as it comes. Because if you DM anyone in the council about someone smurfing, they just ignore you or tell you not to do it because that's toxic. So, whatever. On to the next. So then Cathexis comes back and he's like, actually, we have a council reference from the 12th. So he screenshots to give, he's got to blur out their names. I'm like, thanks for the transparency. So because of what's going on, he missed a whole bunch of stuff, Cathexis did. So as you can see here, Kathy fucked up and left part of the letter. It's very clearly a red G. Also, you can just tell by the length of their names. It's clearly Phi Sig. So seems a little on edge, not really the best view. And then someone else said, I think it's probably an animate J because he likes to use his own emote. Told him how he needs to watch how he presents himself multiple times. False. He's never told me anything like that. Unless that counts for hey, don't use so many emotes or don't change people's nicknames to funny stuff. Like Brava became Brava Box 1 because he played a series on Xbox One while he was at his friend's house and we won. So yeah. So and then Kathy's basically like, yeah, so there's a few more messages about your edginess and sense of humor, which isn't fitting with the role. So it has nothing to do with my my sense of humor, but it has everything to do with my sense of humor at the same time. So here on the next slide, we have another. It's kind of hard to read, but it's another one, obviously Phi Sig, and he's like, oh well, saying stuff like if a captain doesn't have a full plan and multiple backups and able to pick a draft in a minute, then they're a horrible captain and don't deserve it. I never said you're a bad captain, but captains were complaining about, oh, it's really hard to scout. I haven't had much time to do it. Well, then why the fuck are you a captain? Plenty of people would want to be a captain. Why would you choose to be a captain if you can't even do the work of holding like 2 scrims a week up until the draft? And I said it nicely. I always presented myself pretty nicely, but I'm not here to blow smoke up people's ass. I guess that's what they want. And he said later there was a whole convo he was having in general the other night about basically saying AL, that's Plat League, players are bad, and if you're in Plat League for a while, you were really bad. I never said that. Pretty sure it was Scarton who was talking about, oh, well, people come in like upper and then in one season they're like a champ player. Well, yeah, because they practice all the freaking time. The dude admitted he like maybe plays 30 minutes a week, if that. And I was like, well, how many training packs are you doing? He's like, well, I'd rather just play comp or casual. And it's like, well, your mechanics are never going to improve. The whole point I was making is that you can either be a really good mental player or you can be a really good mechanical player. You just need one to hit Diamond 2. That's all I said. I never said anyone was bad. So totally misrepresenting what I said here. So I said just comments like that, plus a sense of humor is not very funny. Let me rephrase that. It's pretty dark in some cases. Very easy to take the wrong way. So yeah, it's totally not about my humor though. It's never been about my humor. It's just because I'm toxic apparently. Yeah, bullshit. And so then Kathy tries the misdirection. Well, this is prior to the whole Ray ordeal, but like none of that shit was even true. It was just people misrepresenting what I said. So yeah, that's interesting. And then I just kind of refuted everything that was in the messages. And so at this point, he's just talking in circles, saying how They keep having to repeat themselves again to you. No one ever fucking said a thing to me. No one said shit other than Cloud Fuel that one time. Like I said, I invite any council member to share a live screen view of their DMs so that you can't Photoshop it. Prove me wrong. You can't. None of that shit happened. So at that point, I was like, yeah, whatever. They just want me out. So I was like, best of luck in the future. So after I left, KD messaged me. I just kind of said, all right, well, it's been fun, y'all. Later, and left the server. I was kind of sharing stuff with KD, what went on. He says bullshit. So essentially, and then he brought up the point, which is a very good point. If my removal essentially started on the 13th, it took him 2 weeks to remove a role. How does it take 2 weeks to discuss removing someone from mod? 2 weeks? That's like a max 20-minute conversation. So yeah, I'm pretty sure it's just because they were annoyed with me. They didn't like my sense of humor and just wanted any reason to get rid of me and just grasping for straws at that point. So, I mean, whatever. I moved on to bigger and better things. I mean, I'm not even going to be here in the country in about a month, so it's whatever. But, I don't know. How you're either took 2 weeks to remove me, which means you're incompetent, or you're just coming up with shit. So, I don't know. I legitimately don't know, because up to this point, they've proven to be somewhat incompetent. But just for extra credit, here is my good friend Brainiac. I don't know. I mean, like, he's kind of done with MLD at this point, so he kind of sent a message to Cathexis. Didn't respond for 2 days. Brainiac sends another, and then Kathy takes it very personally. So that's fun. And here's Cathexis telling Brain, basically, if we're biased towards people and things we didn't like, you never would have won you wouldn't have won our headphone giveaway in the Twitch chat. So basically insinuating that he doesn't like Brainiac. That's the vice president of MLD, ladies and gentlemen. So I think we'll end it here. It's been quite a shit show. Stay on the lookout for part 3.